But you know, Thailand's beauty isn't just skin deep. Every vista tells a story. Every temple carries centuries of devotion. Every beach has been shaped by monsoons and tides that have carved this landscape for millennia. Number 12. Erawan Falls. In the heart of Kanchanaburi province, where the jungle grows thick and the air hums with the sound of cascading water, lies one of Southeast Asia's most spectacular natural amphitheaters. Erawan Falls doesn't just flow, it performs. 7 distinct tiers of limestone-filtered water cascade down a 200-meter cliff face, each level creating its own unique ecosystem, its own personality, its own reason to stop and stare. The water here isn't ordinary. Fed by underground springs and filtered through layers of limestone, it emerges a brilliant turquoise that seems almost artificial in its intensity. The minerals in the water have created natural terraces and pools over thousands of years, sculpting what looks like a series of infinity pools designed by nature itself. Each tier has its own character. Some are shallow and warm, perfect for wading, while others plunge deep into emerald pools where fish dart between submerged logs and limestone formations. What makes Erawan Falls truly extraordinary is how it demonstrates the raw power of water to transform landscape. The limestone here, laid down millions of years ago when this region was beneath an ancient sea, has been carved and shaped by this single waterfall system into something that resembles a natural cathedral. The sound is overwhelming. Not the roar of a single massive waterfall, but the complex symphony of 7 different water features, each contributing its own note to the composition. The surrounding jungle adds another layer of wonder. This is pristine tropical rainforest, home to over 800 species of plants and countless animals. Monkeys swing through the canopy above the falls, their calls echoing off the limestone walls. Butterflies the size of dinner plates drift through shafts of sunlight that penetrate the forest canopy. The air itself seems alive, thick with humidity and the scent of tropical flowers. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about Erawan Falls is how it changes throughout the day. In the early morning, mist rises from the pools, creating an ethereal atmosphere where the falls seem to emerge from and disappear into clouds. As the sun climbs higher, the water becomes crystal clear, revealing every detail of the underwater landscape, the smooth limestone formations, the schools of fish, the way light refracts through the mineral-rich water creating dancing patterns on the pool floors. This is nature as architect, water as sculptor, time as artist. Erawan Falls represents the incredible power of Thailand's natural forces to create beauty that seems almost too perfect to be real. Number 11. Wat Benchamabofit, the Marble Temple. In the heart of Bangkok, where, the chaos of modern Thailand swirls around every corner, stands a temple that represents the absolute pinnacle of Thai architectural achievement. Wat Benchamabofit, known as the Marble Temple, isn't just a building. It's honestly a masterpiece of human artistry that took over a century to complete and represents the finest example of Thai craftsmanship in the world. The temple's most striking feature is immediately obvious. It's built entirely from Italian Carrara marble, the same material used by Michelangelo for his greatest sculptures. But this isn't just marble for marble's sake. The choice of material reflects the temple's purpose as a royal monastery, commissioned by King Chulalongkorn in 1899 as a monument to Thai Buddhism and Thai artistic excellence. The marble's pure white surface serves as a canvas for the intricate carvings and decorative elements that cover every surface of the temple. Walking through the temple complex is, like stepping into a 3-dimensional art gallery. Every pillar, every doorway, every roof tile has been crafted with an attention to detail that borders on obsessive. The roof itself is a marvel of engineering and aesthetics. Traditional Thai architecture adapted to support the weight of marble instead of wood, with golden tiles that catch and reflect sunlight throughout the day, creating a building that seems to glow from within. The temple's interior houses one of Thailand's most revered Buddha images, but it's the space itself that truly takes your breath away. The marble walls create an acoustic environment where the slightest sound echoes and reverberates, turning whispered prayers into something that feels almost musical. Light filters through carefully placed windows, creating patterns that shift throughout the day, transforming the temple's interior into a constantly changing canvas of shadow and illumination. What makes Wat Benchamabofit truly extraordinary is how it represents the intersection of tradition and innovation. This is traditional Thai architecture pushed to its absolute limits, using materials and techniques that had never been attempted before in Southeast Asia. The temple's construction required skills that had to be learned from scratch. Thai craftsmen working with Italian marble workers, Buddhist monks collaborating with European architects, ancient traditions adapted for modern materials. The temple's gallery contains 52 Buddha images representing different styles and periods of Buddhist art, but the real masterpiece is the building itself. This is Thailand's answer to the great cathedrals of Europe, a structure that demonstrates that traditional Buddhist architecture can be every bit as grand, as sophisticated, and as breathtaking as any religious building in the world. Standing in the temple's main hall, surrounded by gleaming marble that has been carved into impossibly intricate patterns, you really understand why this temple has become synonymous with the highest achievements of Thai civilization. This is art as devotion, architecture as prayer, craftsmanship as spiritual practice. Number 10. Khao Yai National Park. 2 hours north of Bangkok, Thailand's landscape explodes into something completely unexpected. Khao Yai National Park sprawls across nearly 900 square miles of pristine wilderness, encompassing everything from tropical rainforest to grassland, from cascading waterfalls to limestone caves, from ancient trees to volcanic peaks. This is Thailand's oldest national park, but more importantly, it's one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. The park's centerpiece is Khao Rom, a mountain that rises over 4,000 feet above sea level and serves as the watershed for dozens of rivers and streams that flow throughout central Thailand. From the summit, on a clear day, you can see the entire central plain stretching to the horizon, a view that encompasses nearly a quarter of Thailand's total land area. But it's not just the view that makes Khao Yai extraordinary, it's what lives here. This is elephant country. Khao Yai is home to one of Thailand's largest populations of wild Asian elephants, magnificent creatures that move through the forest in family groups, their presence announced by the sound of breaking branches and distant rumbling calls. Watching a family of elephants emerge from the jungle into one of the park's grasslands is like, honestly, witnessing something from the Pleistocene, massive, ancient, utterly wild creatures that seem to embody the very essence of untamed nature. But elephants are just the beginning. Khao Yai is home to over 300 species of birds, including hornbills with beaks the size of bananas and calls that echo through the forest canopy. Tigers still roam these forests, though they're rarely seen. Leopards hunt in the park's rocky outcrops. Sun bears climb trees that are hundreds of years old. This is one of the few places on Earth where you can still experience what Southeast Asia was like before human civilization transformed the landscape. The park's waterfalls are legendary. Heonarak Falls plunges 500 feet down a limestone cliff face, creating a sound that can be heard for miles. During the rainy season, the falls become a torrent of white water that seems to shake the very ground. During the dry season, it transforms into a series of delicate cascades that create rainbow mists in the afternoon sunlight. What makes Khao Yai truly special is how it demonstrates the incredible diversity of Thailand's natural environments. Within a single day, you can experience tropical rainforest, deciduous forest, grassland, and montane ecosystems. You can watch the sunrise from a mountain peak and the sunset from a valley floor. You can hear the calls of gibbons in the morning and the roar of waterfalls in the afternoon. This is Thailand at its most wild, most ancient, most untouched. Khao Yai represents what this entire region looked like before cities, before agriculture, before human beings began reshaping the landscape. It's a window into the past and a promise for the future, a reminder that some places are too beautiful, too important, too irreplaceable to be anything other than wild. Number 9. James Bond Island, also known as Khao Phi Khan. In the azure waters of Phang Nga Bay, where limestone karsts rise from the sea like ancient monuments, one formation has captured the world's imagination more than any other. James Bond Island, officially known as Khao Phi Khan, represents the absolute pinnacle of Thailand's coastal geology, a place where millions of years of erosion have created something that, honestly, looks more like a work of art than a natural formation. The island's famous needle-like rock formation, Koh Tapu, rises 65 feet straight up from the water, its base eroded to such a narrow point that it really seems to defy gravity. This isn't just a pretty rock, it's a geological masterpiece that tells the story of how Thailand's coastline was formed. The limestone here is over 400 million years old, laid down when this entire region was beneath an ancient sea. Over millions of years, water and wind have carved away the softer rock, leaving behind these spectacular tower formations that, honestly, seem to float on the surface of the bay. But Koh Tapu is just one element in a larger landscape that seems almost surreal in its beauty. Phang Nga Bay contains over 40 similar limestone formations, Each one unique, each one shaped by slightly different patterns of erosion and weathering. From the water, these karsts create a maze of channels and hidden lagoons, secret beaches and underwater caves that can only be accessed by kayak or small boat. What makes this landscape truly extraordinary is how it changes throughout the day. At sunrise, the limestone towers emerge from morning mist like something from a dream. The water is perfectly still, creating mirror-like reflections that double the visual impact of every formation. As the sun climbs higher, the limestone begins to glow, its surface pockmarked with caves and crevices that create patterns of light and shadow that shift throughout the day. The bay's waters are incredibly clear, allowing you to see the underwater landscape that continues the geological story. Beneath the surface, the limestone formations continue downward, creating underwater caves and tunnels that are home to an incredible variety of marine life. The contrast between the stark limestone towers and the rich underwater ecosystem creates a visual experience that's both dramatic and serene. James Bond Island gained its fame from appearing in The Man with the Golden Gun, but its real claim to fame is much older and much more significant. This is one of the world's most spectacular examples of tower karst geology, a landscape type that exists in only a few places on Earth. The combination of limestone composition, tropical climate, and tidal action has created something that's both scientifically important and visually stunning. Standing on the island's small beach, looking up at the needle of Koh Tapu and out across the bay's maze of limestone towers, you're witnessing one of geology's greatest masterpieces. This is the earth as sculptor, water as artist, time as the ultimate creative force. Number 8. Sukhothai Historical Park. In the heart of Thailand's northern plains, where rice fields stretch to the horizon and ancient canals still carry water to distant villages, lie the ruins of what was once the most powerful kingdom in Southeast Asia. Sukhothai Historical Park isn't just an archaeological site, it's a 175-square-mile museum of Thai civilization at its absolute peak, a place where art, architecture, and urban planning achieved a level of sophistication that wouldn't be matched again for centuries. Founded in 1238, Sukhothai was the first truly Thai kingdom, the place where Thai culture, Thai art, and Thai identity were born. Walking through the park today, you're walking through the birthplace of a civilization. The ruins here aren't just old buildings, they're the physical manifestation of a golden age when Thai artists and architects created some of the most beautiful religious art in the world. The park's centerpiece is Wat Mahathat, a temple complex that once contained over 200 structures and was the spiritual heart of the kingdom. The main chedi, or stupa, rises 130 feet into the sky, its lotus bud shape representing the Buddha's enlightenment. But it's not just the size that impresses, it's the incredible detail work. Every surface is covered with intricate carvings that tell stories from Buddhist scripture, each one executed with a precision and artistry that represents the pinnacle of Thai craftsmanship. What makes Sukhothai truly extraordinary is how it demonstrates the sophistication of medieval Thai urban planning. This wasn't just a collection of temples, it was a carefully designed city with an advanced irrigation system, planned neighborhoods, and public spaces that show a level of civic organization that was incredibly advanced for its time. The city's moats and canals weren't just defensive features, they were part of a sophisticated water management system that supported a population of over 100,000 people. The park's Buddha images are legendary. The walking Buddha at Wat Saphon Hin, carved from a single piece of stone and standing 40 feet tall, represents the absolute pinnacle of Thai sculptural art. The way the artist captured movement in stone, the flowing robes, the graceful hand position, the serene expression, creates a sense of motion and life that seems almost impossible in such a solid medium. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about Sukhothai is how it looks at different times of day. At sunrise, mist rises from the ancient moats and canals, creating an ethereal atmosphere where the temple ruins seem to float above the water. As the sun climbs higher, the red laterite and white stucco of the temple walls begin to glow, creating a warm, golden light that seems to bring the ancient stones to life. This is Thailand's Angkor Wat, a place where art and architecture achieved a level of perfection that has never been equaled. Sukhothai represents the moment when Thai civilization reached its absolute peak, when artists and architects created monuments that still take your breath away 800 years later. Number 7. Railay Beach. Accessible only by boat, cut off from the mainland by these towering limestone cliffs that rise about 600 feet straight up from the jungle floor, Railay Beach really exists in its own world, a place where some of the most spectacular coastal scenery on Earth creates this natural amphitheater that honestly seems designed specifically to showcase the raw power and beauty of Thailand's southern landscape. And the beach itself is just the beginning. Raylay's 4 beaches, Railay West, Railay East, Phra Nang and Ton Sai, each offer a completely different perspective on what happens when limestone meets the sea. Railay West faces the setting sun, and its white sand beach is backed by coconut palms and these limestone cliffs that glow orange and pink in the evening light. The water here is so clear you can see the bottom 30 feet down, where tropical fish dart between coral formations and limestone boulders. But honestly, it's the cliffs that make Railay truly extraordinary. These aren't just rocky outcrops, they're 400-million-year-old limestone formations that have been carved and shaped by monsoons, tides, and time into some of the most dramatic coastal scenery in the world. The limestone here is incredibly hard, which is why it's become one of the world's premier rock climbing destinations, but it's also just incredibly beautiful. The cliffs are riddled with caves, arches, and hidden passages that create a landscape that seems, well, more like something from a fantasy novel than a real place. Phra Nang Cave, accessible only at low tide, houses a shrine to a mythical princess that's been worshipped by local fishermen for centuries. But the cave itself is the real attraction, a limestone cathedral with stalactites and stalagmites that have been forming for thousands of years. The cave's opening frames a perfect view of the Andaman Sea, creating a natural picture window that's been carved by millions of years of wave action. What makes Railay truly special is how it demonstrates the incredible diversity of Thailand's coastal environments. In the space of just a few hundred yards, you can experience white sand beaches, tropical jungle, limestone caves, and coral reefs. You can watch the sunrise from a cliff top and the sunset from a beach. You can snorkel in crystal clear water in the morning and explore ancient caves in the afternoon. The area's marine life is equally spectacular. The waters around Railay are home to over 200 species of fish, including parrotfish, angelfish, and schools of barracuda that move through the water like silver clouds. The coral reefs here are some of the healthiest in Thailand, their bright colors creating an underwater landscape that's every bit as spectacular as the limestone cliffs above the surface. And just when you think it can't get better, wait until you see number 1. Number 6. Doi Inthanon National Park. At 8,415 feet above sea level, Doi Inthanon isn't just Thailand's highest peak, it's honestly a completely different world. Known as the Roof of Thailand, this mountain and the national park that surrounds it represent something unique in Southeast Asia, a place where temperate and tropical climates meet, where plants and animals from totally different ecosystems coexist, and where you can experience 4 different climate zones in a single day. The mountain itself is, well, a geological marvel. Doi Inthanon is actually the eroded remnant of an ancient volcano that was active millions of years ago. The summit, often shrouded in mist and clouds, offers views that, on a clear day, stretch across 3 countries, Thailand, Myanmar, and Laos. But it's not just the view that makes this place extraordinary, it's the incredible ecosystem that exists here. This is one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. The park is home to over 400 species of birds, more than anywhere else in Thailand. The climate here creates conditions that support plants and animals that exist nowhere else in Southeast Asia. Rhododendrons bloom right alongside tropical orchids. Temperate forest birds share the canopy with tropical species. The temperature can vary by 30 degrees between the summit and the base, creating distinct climate zones that support completely different ecosystems. The park's waterfalls are, honestly, legendary. Wachirathan Falls plunges 260 feet down a granite cliff face, creating a sound that echoes through the mountain valleys. During the rainy season, the falls become a torrent of white water that can be heard for miles. During the dry season, it transforms into a series of delicate cascades that create rainbow mists in the afternoon sunlight. But maybe the most remarkable feature of Doi Inthanon is how it changes throughout the day and throughout the year. In the early morning, the summit is often above the clouds, creating a sea of mist that stretches to the horizon. As the sun rises, the mist burns off, revealing valleys and ridges that seem to go on forever. During the cool season, from November to February, the summit can actually be cold enough to require warm clothing, a unique experience in tropical Thailand. The park's two chetties, built to honor the King and Queen of Thailand, represent some of the most beautiful examples of contemporary Thai architecture. Set against the backdrop of the mountain summit, these golden spires create a striking contrast with the temperate forest and often misty conditions. The chetties are surrounded by gardens that showcase both temperate and tropical plants, creating a unique landscape that exists nowhere else in the world. If this journey has already left you breathless, hit that subscribe button, we're only halfway through. Number 5. Phang Nga Bay. Beyond the famous James Bond Island lies a marine wonderland that represents one of the most spectacular coastal landscapes on Earth. Phang Nga Bay, with its 42 islands and countless limestone karsts rising from emerald waters, is a place where geology, marine biology and human history have created something that seems almost too perfect to be real. The bay covers over 400 square kilometers of protected waters, each one containing ecosystems that exist nowhere else on Earth. The limestone formations here aren't just pretty rocks, they're home to entire worlds. Hidden lagoons, accessible only by kayak through narrow caves, contain mangrove forests that have never been touched by the outside world. These secret gardens are home to species of plants and animals that have evolved in isolation, creating unique ecosystems that scientists are still discovering. The bay's mangrove forests are among the most pristine in Southeast Asia. These aren't just swamps, they're complex ecosystems that serve as nurseries for countless species of fish, birds, and marine life. The mangroves here have created a network of channels and lagoons that support an incredible diversity of life. Mudskippers climb the mangrove roots, kingfishers dive for fish in the shallow waters, monitor lizards, some over 6 feet long, bask on exposed roots. What makes Phang Nga Bay truly extraordinary is how it demonstrates the incredible power of tidal action to shape landscape. The bay experiences some of the most extreme tides in the world, with water levels changing by up to 12 feet twice a day. This constant movement of water has carved and shaped the limestone formations, creating caves, arches, and hidden lagoons that are constantly changing. The bay's sea caves are legendary. Hong Island's hidden lagoon, accessible only through a narrow cave passage, contains a perfectly circular lagoon surrounded by limestone walls that rise 300 feet straight up. The water here is so still, it creates perfect reflections, doubling the visual impact of the limestone formations. The only sounds are the calls of tropical birds and the gentle lapping of water against the limestone walls. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about Phang Nga Bay is how it looks from the air. From above, the bay resembles a vast natural sculpture garden, with limestone formations scattered across the emerald waters like pieces of art. Each formation is unique, each one shaped by slightly different patterns of erosion and weathering. The contrast between the deep blue of the open ocean, the emerald green of the shallow waters, and the gray-white of the limestone, creates a visual spectacle that's both dramatic and serene. The bay's marine life is equally spectacular. The waters here are home to dolphins, dugongs, and sea turtles. The coral reefs that surround many of the limestone formations are among the healthiest in Thailand, their bright colors creating an underwater landscape that's every bit as spectacular as the limestone cliffs above the surface. Number 4. Wat Pho, the Temple of the Reclining Buddha. In the heart of Bangkok's oldest district, where the Chao Phraya River curves through the ancient capital, stands a temple that represents the absolute pinnacle of Thai religious art. Wat Pho isn't just a temple, it's a masterpiece of human creativity that took over 200 years to complete and contains some of the most beautiful examples of Thai craftsmanship in the world. The temple's most famous feature is immediately overwhelming, a 150-foot-long, 50-foot-high golden Buddha reclining in peaceful repose. But this isn't just a large statue, it's a masterpiece of sculptural art that demonstrates the incredible skill of Thai craftsmen. Every detail has been perfectly executed, from the intricate mother-of-pearl inlay work on the Buddha's feet, to the golden robes that seem to flow like real fabric, despite being made of solid metal. The feet alone are works of art. Each foot is decorated with 108 mother-of-pearl panels depicting the 108 auspicious characteristics of the Buddha. The inlay work is so detailed that each panel tells a complete story, using symbols and imagery that have been passed down through generations of Thai artists. The level of craftsmanship required to create this detail work represents hundreds of years of accumulated skill and knowledge. But the reclining Buddha is just one element in a temple complex that contains over 1,000 Buddha images and represents the largest collection of Buddha images in Thailand. The temple's main halls contain statues in every conceivable pose and style, from tiny figures carved from single pieces of jade to massive bronze statues that required years to complete. Each statue represents a different aspect of Buddhist teaching, creating a three-dimensional library of religious art. The temple's architecture is equally spectacular. The main ordination hall, with its triple-tiered roof and gilded decorations, represents the pinnacle of traditional Thai temple design. The building's proportions are mathematically perfect, based on ancient principles of sacred geometry that create a sense of harmony and balance that's immediately apparent to anyone who enters the space. What makes Wat Pho truly extraordinary is how it serves as a living museum of Thai culture. This temple is traditionally considered the first university in Thailand, a place where knowledge was preserved and transmitted through generations. The temple's walls are covered with inscriptions that preserve traditional Thai knowledge about medicine, literature, and religion. The famous Thai massage school located within the temple grounds continues a tradition that goes back centuries. The temple's gardens are masterpieces of landscape design, traditional Thai gardens that use water, stone, and carefully selected plants to create spaces that encourage meditation and reflection. The courtyard areas are decorated with Chinese-style statues and rock gardens that demonstrate the cultural exchange that has always been part of Thai civilization. Standing in the presence of the reclining Buddha, surrounded by centuries of accumulated artistry and craftsmanship, you understand why this temple has become synonymous with the highest achievements of Thai civilization. This is art as devotion, architecture as prayer, craftsmanship as spiritual practice taken to its absolute pinnacle. Number 3. Phi Phi Islands. Rising from the deep blue waters of the Andaman Sea like something from a fever dream, the Phi Phi Islands represent tropical paradise in its most extreme form. These 6 islands, dominated by limestone cliffs that rise 1,500 feet straight up from the ocean floor, create a landscape that seems almost too perfect to be real. A place where millions of years of geological forces have conspired to create the ultimate tropical getaway. Phi Phi Don, the largest of the islands, is connected to its smaller twin by a narrow strip of white sand beach that's barely 100 yards wide. From the air, the island looks like 2 limestone mountains connected by a bridge of sand, a geographical quirk that's created one of the most photographed landscapes in the world. The beaches here aren't just beautiful, they're geologically fascinating, composed of coral sand that's been ground down by wave action over thousands of years. Maya Bay, on the smaller Phi Phi Lay, gained worldwide fame as the location for the movie The Beach, but its real claim to fame is much more significant. This is one of the most perfect examples of a tropical lagoon ecosystem in the world. The bay is almost completely enclosed by limestone cliffs, creating a natural amphitheater that protects the coral reefs and marine life from the open ocean's more destructive forces. The limestone formations here are incredibly dramatic. These aren't just cliffs, they're 400-million-year-old limestone formations that have been carved and shaped by monsoons, tides, and time into some of the most spectacular coastal scenery in the world. The limestone is riddled with caves, arches, and hidden passages that create a landscape that seems more like something from a fantasy novel than a real place. What makes the Phi Phi Islands truly extraordinary is their marine ecosystem. The waters here are home to over 200 species of fish, including massive schools of barracuda that move through the water like silver clouds. The coral reefs are among the healthiest in Thailand, their bright colors creating an underwater landscape that's every bit as spectacular as the limestone cliffs above the surface. Blacktip reef sharks patrol the deeper waters, while colorful parrotfish and angelfish dart between the coral formations. The island's sea caves are legendary. The Viking Cave, accessible only by small boat, contains ancient paintings that may be over 1,000 years old. The cave's opening frames a perfect view of the Andaman Sea, creating a natural picture window that's been carved by millions of years of wave action. The acoustics in the cave are incredible. The sound of waves echoing off the limestone walls creates a natural symphony that changes with the tides. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about the Phi Phi Islands is how they demonstrate the incredible power of limestone to create landscape. The islands are essentially the tops of underwater mountains, limestone formations that were pushed up from the seafloor by tectonic forces millions of years ago. The dramatic cliffs, the hidden lagoons, the underwater caves, all of this is the result of limestone's unique properties and the way it responds to tropical weather and marine erosion. Standing on the viewpoint above Maya Bay, looking out over the turquoise waters and limestone cliffs that seem to go on forever, you're witnessing one of geology's greatest masterpieces. This is nature as architect, water as sculptor, time as the ultimate creative force. Number 2, Ayutthaya Historical Park. On an island where 3 rivers converge about 50 miles north of Bangkok, lie the ruins of what was once the most magnificent city in Southeast Asia. Ayutthaya Historical Park isn't just an archaeological site. It's a 715 square mile testament to human achievement, a place where art, architecture, and urban planning reached levels of sophistication that made this city the envy of the world for over 400 years. Founded in 1350, Ayutthaya was the capital of the Kingdom of Siam and one of the largest cities in the world by the 18th century. At its peak, the city was home to over 1 million people and contained more than 400 temples, 3 royal palaces, and a network of canals that earned it the nickname Venice of the East. Walking through the park today, you're really walking through the remains of one of history's greatest civilizations. The park's most iconic image is the Buddha head entwined in the roots of a banyan tree at Wat Mahathat. This isn't just a pretty photograph, it's a powerful symbol of how nature and human civilization intersect. The tree has literally grown around the stone head over hundreds of years, creating a natural sculpture that seems to represent the eternal cycle of creation and destruction that defines all human achievement. But Wat Mahathat is just one of dozens of temple ruins that demonstrate the incredible sophistication of Ayutthaya's architects and artists. Wat Phra Si Sanphet, the royal temple, contains 3 massive chetties that rise 100 feet into the sky. These aren't just monuments, they're masterpieces of engineering that have survived centuries of war, floods, and earthquakes. The precision of the stonework, the mathematical perfection of the proportions, the way the structures seem to float above the surrounding landscape, all of this demonstrates a level of architectural achievement that was centuries ahead of its time. The city's water management system was one of the most sophisticated in the world. Ayutthaya was built on an artificial island, surrounded by a network of canals that served as highways, defensive barriers, and flood control systems. The city's engineers had mastered the art of working with water, creating an urban environment that was both beautiful and functional. Even today, 250 years after the city's destruction, you can still see the remains of the canal system that made this civilization possible. What makes Ayutthaya truly extraordinary is how it demonstrates the incredible cultural sophistication of medieval Thailand. This wasn't just a political capital, it was a center of learning, art, and international trade. The city's temples contained libraries with thousands of manuscripts. Its workshops produced art and crafts that were prized throughout Asia. Its ports welcomed traders from China, India, Europe, and the Middle East. The park's evening light show transforms the ruins into something magical. As the sun sets, strategic lighting brings the ancient stones to life, creating shadows and highlights that emphasize the incredible detail work of the original builders. The temples seem to glow from within, their ancient stones warm and alive in the golden light. Standing among the ruins of Wat Chaiwatanaram, watching the sun set over the Chao Phraya River, you can almost imagine what this city looked like at its peak. This is Thailand's greatest archaeological treasure, a place where human civilization achieved something truly extraordinary. On an island where 3 rivers converge, about 50 miles north of Bangkok, lie the ruins of what was once the most magnificent city in Southeast Asia. Ayutthaya Historical Park isn't just an archaeological site, it's a 715 square mile testament to human achievement, a place where art, architecture, and urban planning reached levels of sophistication that made this city the envy of the world for over 400 years. Founded in 1350, Ayutthaya was the capital of the Kingdom of Siam, and one of the largest cities in the world by the 18th century. At its peak, the city was home to over 1 million people, and contained more than 400 temples, 3 royal palaces, and a network of canals that earned it the nickname Venice of the East. Walking through the park today, you're walking through the remains of one of history's greatest civilizations. The park's most iconic image is the Buddha head entwined in the roots of a banyan tree at Wat Mahathat. This isn't just a pretty photograph, it's a powerful symbol of how nature and human civilization intersect. The tree has literally grown around the stone head over hundreds of years, creating a natural sculpture that seems to represent the eternal cycle of creation and destruction that defines all human achievement. But Wat Mahathat is just one of dozens of temple ruins that demonstrate the incredible sophistication of Ayutthaya's architects and artists. Wat Phra Si Sanphet, the Royal Temple, contains 3 massive chetties that rise 100 feet into the sky. These aren't just monuments, they're masterpieces of engineering that have survived centuries of war, floods, and earthquakes. The precision of the stonework, the mathematical perfection of the proportions, and honestly the way the structures seem to float above the surrounding landscape, all of this demonstrates a level of architectural achievement that was centuries ahead of its time. The city's water management system was one of the most sophisticated in the world. Ayutthaya was built on an artificial island, surrounded by a network of canals that served as highways, defensive barriers, and flood control systems. The city's engineers had really mastered the art of working with water, creating an urban environment that was both beautiful and functional. Even today, 250 years after the city's destruction, you can still see the remains of the canal system that made this civilization possible. What makes Ayutthaya truly extraordinary is how it demonstrates the incredible cultural sophistication of medieval Thailand. This wasn't just a political capital, it was a center of learning, art, and international trade. The city's temples contained libraries with thousands of manuscripts. Its workshops produced art and crafts that were prized throughout Asia. Its ports welcomed traders from China, India, Europe, and the Middle East. The park's evening light show transforms the ruins into something magical. As the sun sets, strategic lighting brings the ancient stones to life, creating shadows and highlights that emphasize the incredible detail work of the original builders. The temples seem to glow from within, their ancient stones warm and alive in the golden light. Standing among the ruins of Wat Chai Wathanaram watching the sun set over the Chao Phraya River, you can almost imagine what this city looked like at its peak. This is Thailand's greatest archaeological treasure, a place where human civilization achieved something truly extraordinary. Number 1. Angkor Wat. Just kidding, it's actually the Similan Islands. In the crystal-clear waters of the Andaman Sea, about 40 miles off Thailand's western coast, lie 9 granite islands that represent, honestly, one of the most spectacular marine ecosystems on Earth. The Similan Islands aren't just beautiful, they're a living laboratory where unique geological forces have created underwater landscapes that seem more like alien worlds than anything you'll find on land. The islands themselves are, well, geological marvels. These aren't limestone formations like most of Thailand's islands, they're actually ancient granite outcrops that were pushed up from the ocean floor millions of years ago. Over time, the granite has been carved and shaped by wave action into these fantastic sculptures that really seem to defy gravity. Sail Rock, the most famous formation, is a 100-foot-tall granite boulder that balances on a tiny base, creating a natural sculpture that honestly looks like the work of a mad artist. But it's underwater where the Similan Islands truly shine. The granite formations continue beneath the surface, creating this 3-dimensional landscape of boulders, caverns, and swim-throughs that's honestly unlike anything else in the world. The clear water, where visibility often exceeds 100 feet, lets you see the entire underwater landscape, giving you this incredible sense of flying through an alien world. The marine life here is, well, legendary. The Similan Islands are home to some of the largest and most diverse populations of marine life in Southeast Asia. Whale sharks, the largest fish in the world, are regular visitors to these waters. Manta rays with 20-foot wingspans glide through the deeper waters like underwater aircraft, and schools of barracuda form these tornado-like formations that spiral up from the depths. The coral reefs here are among the healthiest in the world. The granite formations provide the perfect substrate for coral growth, creating reefs that are both incredibly diverse and spectacularly beautiful. Table corals the size of dining room tables create underwater gardens. Soft corals in every color imaginable wave in the current like underwater flowers. The contrast between the gray granite boulders and the colorful coral creates an underwater landscape that's both dramatic and serene. What makes the Similan Islands truly extraordinary is how they demonstrate the incredible diversity of marine ecosystems. Each island has its own unique character, its own distinct underwater topography, its own populations of marine life. Island number 4, known as Koh Myung, features underwater caverns and swim-throughs that create a maze of granite corridors filled with tropical fish. Island number 8, Koh Similan, is famous for its massive boulder formations that create underwater cathedrals, where light filters down through the water in spectacular rays. The island's unique position in the Andaman Sea creates conditions that support both Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean species. This is one of the few places on Earth where you can see marine life from two completely different oceanic systems coexisting in the same ecosystem. The diversity is staggering. Over 500 species of fish, 11 species of sharks, and countless varieties of coral and other marine life. The granite formations above water are equally spectacular. These ancient rocks have been carved by millions of years of wind and wave action into fantastic sculptures that seem to change shape depending on your perspective. The contrast between the smooth, rounded granite and the tropical vegetation creates a landscape that's both stark and lush, both ancient and alive. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about the Similan Islands is how they look from below the surface. The granite boulders, some as large as houses, create an underwater landscape that seems more like the surface of an alien planet than anything terrestrial. Swimming through the boulder fields is like exploring a three-dimensional maze where every turn reveals new wonders, giant groupers hiding in the shadows, schools of tropical fish spiraling up from the depths, coral gardens that seem to glow with their own inner light. The water clarity here is legendary among divers. On calm days, the visibility can exceed 130 feet, allowing you to see the entire underwater landscape spread out below like a vast aquarium. The contrast between the deep blue of the open ocean and the turquoise of the shallows creates a visual spectacle that changes throughout the day as the sun moves across the sky. This is Thailand's crown jewel, a place where geology, marine biology, and pure natural beauty have combined to create something that represents the absolute pinnacle of what our planet can achieve. The Similan Islands aren't just Thailand's most beautiful wonder, they're one of the most spectacular marine ecosystems on Earth. From the mist-shrouded peaks of Doi Inthanon to the crystal-clear waters of the Similan Islands, Thailand has revealed itself as a country where nature and human creativity have achieved something, well, truly extraordinary. We've journeyed through landscapes that span millions of years of geological time, from ancient limestone formations to volcanic peaks, from temple complexes that represent the pinnacle of human artistic achievement, to wilderness areas that remain as wild and untouched as they were centuries ago. What makes Thailand truly special isn't just the individual beauty of these places, it's how they come together to create a country that offers every possible definition of wonder. This is a place where you can experience the serenity of ancient temples and the excitement of untamed wilderness, where you can explore underwater worlds and climb mountain peaks, where human artistry and natural beauty exist in perfect harmony. Thailand's wonders aren't just pretty pictures or tourist destinations, they're windows into the incredible diversity and beauty of our planet. They remind us that Earth is capable of creating landscapes and ecosystems that seem almost too perfect to be real, that human beings are capable of creating art and architecture that can move us to tears, that the intersection of nature and culture can produce something truly transcendent. Each of these 12 wonders tells a story about geological forces that have shaped our planet over millions of years, about civilizations that achieved remarkable heights of artistic and architectural achievement, about ecosystems that support an incredible diversity of life. Together, they create a portrait of a country that has somehow managed to preserve and showcase the very best of what our world has to offer. If this journey amazed you, subscribe and share it with someone who loves discovery. Some places you visit, others stay with you forever. Until the next destination, stay curious.